Welcome to Lake Washington. In this video, I'll show you houses that cost up to $35 million. We'll check out the Montlake Cut and both the Bellevue and Seattle Skylines. Right now, we are in Meydenbauer Bay, which is in Bellevue. Meydenbauer Bay Park is right over there. It was recently renovated, so it's beautiful, and there's a park there for kids to play, and there's water access. You can swim, you can launch your kayaks from there. It's a super great access point to Lake Washington from Bellevue. Bellevue is it's a big hub, it's a big city, and there are a lot of smaller neighborhoods within Bellevue, one of which is Medina. It is actually the 10th wealthiest neighborhood in the United States, and that is where Bill Gates has his house, for instance. It is a super nice area. A lot of the houses are on the waterfront, so if you're doing your Lake Washington cruise, that is definitely one to check out. On the market right now for Medina waterfront homes, they range between $5 million to $16.9 million. And the $5 million property that's for sale doesn't even have a house on it. It is a lot. It's about 14,000 something square feet with 74 feet of lakefront access. Behind me is the 520 bridge. This is the main access point where people are going from the east side to get into Seattle. Growing up, crossing the 520 bridge was free, but then in 2012, they were just wrapping up some major renovations and they started tolling it. Price point to get across the bridge depends on the time of day, but it ranges between $1.35 to $4.90 one way, and that's if you have a good to go pass. If you don't have a good to go pass and it's pay by mail, it's $2, an additional $2 every single time you cross the bridge. So that can get up to like $6.90 going one way, which adds up really fast. So driving your boat on the lake, you can go super fast, doesn't matter. There's a lot of water skiing, wakeboarding, inner tubing on the lake. But when you're going under the bridges, there is a no wake zone, so you do have to slow down quite a bit to go under 520. There was actually one time last summer, I was in the bow of the boat and I was laying down, like seated, and it was seafair, so like one of the busiest weekends of the year on the water. Nicola, like we hit this wave, he didn't do anything wrong. I just wasn't holding on right. Flying, land in the center. And I was like 9 months pregnant, so that is really not something I would recommend doing. Right now we're in Cozy Cove. It's in between Hunts Point and Yarrow Point, and it is an awesome spot to drop an anchor and hang out for the day. Hunts Point currently has 4 waterfront homes from sale. On the lower end, it's at $9.25 million, and then the higher end, there's actually 2 homes on the market right now for $35 million. Yarrow Point has 2 waterfront homes for sale right now, one at $16.8 million and the other one at $17.3 million. Obviously, waterfront homes in this area are quite expensive. If you're in, Hunts Point, Yarrow Point, Medina, or Clyde Hill, all of those areas, whether you're on the water or not, are going to be a much higher price point. Lake Washington is the 2nd largest lake in Washington State. It's right behind Lake Chelan. And it is 22 miles long and then averages 2.5 miles wide. Lake Washington borders the cities of Seattle on the west. We have Bellevue and Kirkland on the east. Renton is the southernmost point of the lake, and then Kenmore is the northernmost point of the lake. And the lake encompasses Mercer Island. The lake is fed by Sammamish River on its north end and then Cedar River on its south. And the lake actually opens up to Puget Sound. So you can go through the locks, which switches the saltwater to freshwater or vice versa. And you go through, and this is going to be the most elementary way anyone has ever explained this, but you basically wait to get let into this elevator type thing. And it switches out the water. So if the water level is higher on one side, you'll be brought up or you'll be brought down on your boat. And then you get spit out and then suddenly you're in salt water. You go out and there's mussels everywhere on the docks and stuff, and it's you're just transported to a whole new area, which is actually very cool. Renton is the southernmost part of Lake Washington, and they have a Hyatt Regency that is on the lake, which is super awesome, and you can boat up to. There's also, right there, in that Renton Landing area, is Jean Coulon Beach Park, which is absolutely huge. There is anything beach park related that you could want to do, whether it is dining or a playground or a trail. It has all of that. And then there's also Kennydale Beach Park in Renton, which has, obviously access to Lake Washington, but it is quite a bit smaller and a little bit more like community-based. I recently sold a home in Lower Kennydale, and in part of that video was we filmed at Jean Coulon Beach Park and got to spend some time there, which was awesome. And that listing, it actually just closed a couple of weeks ago for $2.85 million. It was a luxury new construction home, absolutely stunning. We'll link the video below. Mercer Island is encompassed by Lake Washington. So there are two main bridges. There's the 520 bridge, and then there's I-90, and I-90 is how you get to Mercer Island. Due to Mercer Island being surrounded by water, it is a coveted place to live, and there are some awesome waterfront properties and tons of water view properties. Mercer Island waterfront homes currently for sale range from $3.6 million to $24 million. Next stop, Kirkland. We are now in Kirkland. Behind me is Carillon Point. There is a great hotel in Carillon Point. You can dock up, and there's tons of fantastic restaurants and a really awesome spot to boat into. I recently filmed a video starting at Marina Park going over all of my favorite Kirkland neighborhoods. So if you are interested in Kirkland, it is a place I absolutely love and would highly recommend that you check that video out, and we will link it. Waterfront homes currently in Kirkland range from $2.2 million, which is in Holmes Point in Juanita, so a little bit more northern. And this house actually sits a ways off of the water, but it does have a dock down there. So that's why it is a little cheaper. And then the most expensive waterfront home in Kirkland right now is west of Market, and it's just about $12.9 million. There's also a lot for sale on the water in Kirkland in the downtown area. It is just shy of an acre and has 125 feet of waterfront. It's for sale for $15.75 million. It has WD1 zoning, making it perfect for luxury condos or townhomes. It's rated to build 8 to 10 units on. Kenmore is the northernmost part of Lake Washington. One of the cool things about Kenmore is that is where Kenmore Air is headquartered. Kenmore Air is an awesome airline. They have a ton of more localized flights and some hopper flights in the area, and you'll often see them flying over Lake Washington. We just jetted across, and now we are heading into Seattle. So the University of Washington is dead ahead. Their football field is right there. So the stadium is like super fun if you are on the boat during a game. I mean, not that I'm a football person or anything, but it's cool being able to, to see the lights and to see the stadium filled when you're on the water. The cut, I think it was like 1960, it was started being used for UW rowers, or became the UW rowers area. I'm not exactly sure. But my younger sister, Sophia, she actually rowed for the University of Washington. And humble brag, she is a national championship with UW, so that is pretty freaking cool. I also saw her win the Windermere Cup one year. So the Windermere Cup is on opening day of boating season in May every year, and they have rowers come, people come in internationally and then throughout the US, and they have this regatta, and it goes through the cut, which is really awesome. Once we get into the cut, you'll see on either side of the walls there is some paintings, and the graduating class of UW rowers every year, they'll go in and paint something on there, which is really special. We're going under the Montlake Bridge right now, and the Montlake Bridge will open up. So if you are a super tall boat or a big sailboat or something and need to get under there, they will open the bridge up like this, and they'll stop traffic. And you'll find that in a lot of other, like the Fremont Bridge, and a lot of other bridges in Seattle will do the same thing. So we are definitely in Seattle now. We're in the Portage Bay area. There's a lot of houseboats here. And now that we're in Seattle, there are some more other yacht clubs, other places to have moorage if you have a boat. Lake Washington is connected to Lake Union through the Lake Washington Ship Canal. So we're actually headed towards Lake Union right now. Kind of funny that it's like two lakes that are connected to one another. That just seems weird to me, I don't know. Washington is famous for its salmon, and this salmon house is actually one of those restaurants where you can pull up by boat. So this is where the ships start getting big. You'll see a lot of other bigger fishing vessels, a lot of cruise ships. Argosy Cruise is out of Seattle as well, so there's a lot of big boats around these parts. And then with the big boats, there's also in Lake Union, there's a lot of these hot tub boats, which I'm sure they're super fun, but they're so low to the water. You just see there's these tiny heads up above, and you don't see them until you're so close. So a little scary, a little warning. And then Lake Union also has tons of kayakers and tons of paddleboarders. And there it is, the Seattle skyline. So I know I said this is a Lake Washington tour, but you're gonna get a 2-for-1 and get Lake Union as well. This is Gasworks Park. It was a former oil and coal plant until 1956. The site used to be a toxic, inhospitable environment, and then it transformed to be one of the first post-industrial landscapes to be used as a public park. I thought that was pretty interesting. It is a super popular park now, and people will often go to watch the sunset. The sunset there is awesome. There's a little like hill that goes up, and you sit there, you're over Lake Union, you see the Seattle skyline, and you get to watch a sunset, and it is truly incredible. This is a major shipyard area that has tons of huge boats that go to Alaska. They also do a ton of boat repair here, so it's not uncommon that you'll see like a $50 million yacht that's here to be repaired. And the skyline, the Seattle skyline will just never get old. Seeing the skyline from the water is something else. And if you see it at night, it's beautiful. During the day, it's beautiful. Lake Union can be a little bit of a nightmare to drive your boat in sometimes, just due to how many people there are, but it's also so fun because there's so many people out here enjoying the good weather and enjoying the lake. This side of Seattle has Lake Union, and then the other side of Seattle is where the Puget Sound is. So where the Downtown Seattle Aquarium is, that's off of the Puget Sound. Where West Seattle is, that's gonna be off the Puget Sound as well. So there is part of Seattle is freshwater, and then the other part of Seattle waterfront is saltwater, which is interesting. These boats are huge, and look at those little paddleboarders. They're just little shrimps. Also, imagine that coming at you when you're on a paddleboard. Like, what a scary thought. Obviously, like, you're gonna be fine, but wow. Oh, there's a seaplane landing. Just crazy how many things you can do in the water and that you can all coexist and like be safe and have fun. I hope you enjoyed this tour of Lake Washington and Lake Union. It was just a blip. There is so much more out there to explore. My name is Bella Chaffey Lakic. If you have any real estate questions, real estate needs in the greater King or Snohomish County areas, please do not hesitate to reach out. I would love to help you. If you're relocating and have any questions about moving to the area, please reach out, and I would love to chat with you about all there is to explore here. See you next time. We just finished up at dinner at Public House in Seattle. We were able to tie the boat up on the docks right next to the restaurant, which was awesome. And now we are headed back. One of our favorite times of nights to be here. Like, it's before it's too dark, but you're seeing the sunset. And we're bringing her back to Meydenbauer for the night.